The first presentation will be done by Jan Fordeyn, the Director of Project Development with Jan de Nul. The topic is sand shortage. Unfortunately, Jan couldn't be with us here today live. So fortunately, on the other hand, he has recorded his presentation, and therefore we will now view his presentation recorded. Jan Fordeyn.
Good morning to you all. I'm Jan Fordeyn, Director Project Development at Jan de Nul and member of the Sustainability Committee. My pitch is about sand. We might not realize this in our day-to-day business, but the consumption of sand has increased dramatically in the last 3 decades. This is of course linked to the worldwide construction boom. And there are 2 problems with that. One is that we are depleting a finite resource so fast that there may come a time that we won't have any sand left to protect ourselves. In fact, many regions face this problem today. And 2, with scarcity comes crime. And the documentary Sand Wars from 2013 has opened the eyes of many, and since then the accounts of expropriation, extortion and bribery have been in the media on a regular basis. Even though these practices are far away from our day-to-day business, the names of our companies are often mentioned in this context. Probably because we advertise about our projects and because we are more visible and easier to find on the internet than the local sand miner in Cambodia. Our natural reaction is saying that we follow the rules, that we have permits for sand extraction and that we abide environmental impact restrictions. However, that does not work for a public at large. With growing concern about the environment we live in, industry is suspect by default. We have seen many examples of that. And if we are honest, it is true that our practices can be improved and impacts can be reduced. One of the important voices in this debate is the United Nations Environmental Programme. They have published about the sand issue since 2014, and I have put it on the agenda of the United Nations Environmental Assembly in 2019 and 2021. They see us as an ally to lead by example, and that means that we can show governments and administrations how sand resource can be managed in a sustainable way. This gives us the opportunity to present ourselves as a responsible, ethical and sustainable sector. The Sustainability Committee has divided this task into 3 steps. First, produce reliable figures of how much sand IADC members exactly use, so we can set that up against the estimates of worldwide sand consumption, just like we did for the CO2 emissions. We have surveyed our members and analyzed the results, and we have concluded that it is an instructive first initiative, but we have work to do to avoid different interpretation of what we exactly require. Secondly, we want to contribute to a best practices standard that is endorsed by UNEP. The reference for that is a similar document that the European mining industry made for mine tailings, and also that document is endorsed by UNEP. And thirdly, we will report about our progress in Aqua and Terra. We have organized several dedicated sessions since March and a round table in June with experts from UNEP, Deltares, TNO and Wageningen. From the presentations and the discussions we had afterwards, we retain that there is a need for mapping and categorizing different types of sand, their location and different uses. And that we can use the European data portals as a pilot case to evaluate the feasibility of the global rollout. For the second step, we should start with inventorizing existing guidelines in order to ensure consistency with the recommendations we make. So we at the Sustainability Committee, we realize that this is not the top priority of our organizations, but we will do everything that we can to make sure it doesn't become one. Thank you.
We thank Jan for his presentation.